praise song and Chicago Footwork, locating a Black diasporic spiritual heritage. Chicago Footwork is a culture and urban dance style characterized by multiple combinations of rapid, often improvised, syncopated movements of the feet. It might be accompanied by calculated, symmetrical hand gestures or flailing arms that complement the grotesque contortions of the footworking body. The dance itself is inseparable from its accompanying music, footwork tracks. Tracks are continuous loops of kick drums, claps, and bass lines offset to hip-hop, R&B, and now Black gospel samples at 160 beats per minute. Chicago Footwork began on the south and west sides of Chicago and is now a global phenomenon consumed and practiced across racial, ethnic, and national boundaries. In fact, in 2011, Chicago Footwork took LA by storm after footworkers King Charles, Prince J-Ron, and Grego relocated with the intent to spread the culture and art form throughout the California region. And while there are today like white American, Indian, Black British, Japanese footworkers, in this particular chapter, I explore the Black American context and situating it within a Black diasporic context. All right, so birthed in the mid-1980s, Chicago Footwork and I are roughly the same age. We were both born in a city under siege by a ravaging crack epidemic and Reagan's subsequent war on Black and brown communities. Certainly, crack would nestle in the bosom of a city already plagued by decades of systematic segregation, Black crime and carnage concentrated on the city's like north and south sides, and white wealth and opportunity siloed within its northern quarters. A product of the south side, life offered me two divergent paths. My mother was an educator for Chicago public schools, and my late father was a known pharmacological Renaissance man. I was literally a collateral consequence of arguably the biggest drug cartel in Chicago's history. Ultimately, I chose the road seldom traveled for many Black youth in my city. But Black agency, as most of us know, in this country, in Chicago especially, is a precarious notion. The choices are always convoluted and structurally generated. To this end, it would be my birthmate, Chicago Footwork, with whom I would reunite about 11 or 12 years later, that would help guide my travels on my chosen path. I tried but was not successful in following my father's footsteps. That is, to a large degree, because Footwork was instrumental in compelling me to heed Nancy Reagan's warning to steer clear of the drugs that their administration had gifted our neighborhoods. So if anything was stepped on by me, it was the ground beneath me from all the footwork that I was doing. Footwork also enabled me to all but escape the vice grips of an unrelenting gang culture. I twisted my fingers to represent my battle clique, and rather than terrorize footwork communities, I terrorized footwork circles. Footwork would eventually deposit me onto a stage in Claremont, California, where I would muse about the specter of its sacred character. Footwork saved my life, and today I sing its praises for being the hood Peter Parker. Despite having cast a wide safety web across 5 generations, Chicago Footwork has been dismissed as a lowly art form birthed from some of the most crime-ridden neighborhoods and performed by those presumed to be the city's menaces. And surely it was not cultivated within some venerable institution like Juilliard. Rather, this street dance was incubated in our rundown skating rinks and basements and back alleys and garages and drab field houses and dilapidated storefronts. So how exactly is footwork our salvation? Well, first, I interpret footwork as a vernacular dance of Black liberation. Where normative modes of subversive expression have been silenced, footwork serves as an embodied communicative outlet. As footworker King Kimo informed me, quote, "I can express myself more through Chicago footwork. It's like telling a story or speaking a language," end quote. The dancers are hood griots. Here's an example.
That's targeted or talking about or raising awareness about a certain topic, whether that's violence against Black men, intersectionality for Black women, any topic.
So say more about this. So like, what would that look like?
That would look like me creating footwork choreo to a poem. And the poem goes like this: run, nigga, nigga, run, nigga, nigga, run. Run, nigga, nigga, run, nigga, nigga, run. Run, nigga, nigga, run, nigga, nigga, run. Run, run, run. Not to mention the physicality, because running and jumping been my reality. Lunging out of this world with a bend, abandoned depression. These walls, my biggest enemy, use my speed as a weapon. Set. So that's like one of them. So like when you're thinking about running, I'm running through a maze. So think about as a young African-American man, you're running through a maze. And just imagine you doing the running man's as you're doing run, nigga, nigga, run, nigga, nigga, run. Run, nigga, nigga, run, nigga, nigga, run. Right? And so like you creating this movement
cut the rest of it off, basically with your body to tell a story. So through footwork, the dancers use their bodies to tell their own stories or those of Laquan McDonald, Rekia Boyd, Emmett Till, or Ida B. Wells. While listening to Mad Dog, I also imagine all the sharecroppers who ran north to cities like Chicago to escape the racial terror of during the days of Jim Crow. Chicago footwork is also liberating insofar as it borrows the expressive holism of its black vernacular antecedents, namely the sorrow songs and the blues. As Angela Davis reminds us, the Negro spirituals encapsulated both sacred and secular narratives. And although considered the devil's music, the blues have been dubbed secular spirituals. I locate Chicago footwork within the tradition of the spirituals and the blues, existing on this unsteady bridge between the sacred and the profane. Taken together, footwork culture and art form also transcend this duality. Consider the scene of a perfectly pearled cigarello tucked behind a footworker's ear as he angles his body, his distorted body in gravity-defying ways, his feet moving at the speed of lightning. A red cup containing cognac sits at the edge of a speaker, blaring tracks like DJ Clint's "Back Up Off Me, Back Up Off Me, Back Up Off Me, Yeah, Yeah," or a DJ Rashad track, or a DJ Rashad Stevie Wonder sample, which would sound something like this. I'm going to butcher it, but "Where were you when I needed you last winter?" So, on the one hand, footwork culture is grounded in the secular world of the here and now. These tracks respectively communicate a response to the ongoing and imminent threat of the ops encroaching and dejection caused by the failures of an idealized romantic love. But on the other hand, Chicago footwork assumes a sacred character. The footworker above, enraptured by the music, is nothing more than an optical illusion before you at that point. As footworker Prince J. Ron shared with me, quote, "Sometimes when I'm in a circle, I go places and I don't even know where, I just black out," end quote. Thus, the footworker's material conditions give way to an embodied metaphysical transcendence. Freedom, mobility, and spirituality are intertwined as they were with the spirituals and the blues. The dance carries footworkers to places where the crossfading necessitated by such structural and social forces cannot reach them. Their bodies are the hoped-for chariots of the slaves, transporting them to an ethereal plane.